Because otherwise we'll just keep making goals and keep expecting more of ourselves. And when we eventually achieve those goals, we just make a new one anyway.
Maladaptive perfectionism is defined as having high personal performance standards and tendencies to be extremely self-critical in self-evaluations. We interviewed 4 different medical and medical science students for their opinions on perfectionism. Here's how it went.
Hey, I'm Stu. I'm a third year medical student at UWA.
I'm Kate. I'm in second year integrated medical science at UWA.
Hi, I'm Britt and I'm a third year medical student at UWA.
My name is Winnie and I'm a first year integrated med sci student at UWA.
I guess to a certain extent, yes, because I like things to be done correctly and I always try my best.
I think it's really subjective. Relative to last year, I'm much more chill now.
Yes.
I think I would say that I'm a perfectionist. I think it's dynamic and it's changed over time. Probably was worse than I am now with more life experience, but yes.
So I'd say that perfectionism for me comes out most when my mental health isn't as good as it could be. And this can kind of create a self-perpetuating cycle of deterioration where I'm trying to work on things to a higher degree of detail than is potentially necessary.
When I see people around me who works extremely hard, it really does push me to work harder, so at the end of the day I would achieve the result that I want. But as a consequence of that, I would sometimes guilt myself for not achieving as well as I thought I would. And also it's hard not to compare yourself to other people if people around you are extremely hardworking.
So when you go into surgery, you scrub up and you're sterile, so you can't touch anything. And they're very, very strict on you not touching anything that you shouldn't. And if you do, you kind of stuff up the whole process. So I was at the operating table, something dropped down and I went, oh, I'll get it, and went to the ground, picked it up, and they all looked at me like, oh no, because I'd just broken the sterile field, so I had to step back, take it off, re-scrub, and it was so embarrassing.
During my admission interview for medicine at UWA, I vaguely recognised the interviewer, and about halfway through the interview I realised that he'd done the interview for me for undergrad entry, which I'd unfortunately not gotten through into medicine then. And as soon as I realised that and made the connection that he was one doing my interview previously, I kind of lost it. And I was in my head about that for probably the next 2 stations after that, thinking, oh no, this is going to mess me up, I'm not going to get into med because of this. And eventually I was able to get myself out of my head in that situation, but it doesn't help that once the interview's over, you don't find out your results for another 2 months. And so those next 2 months were horrific, just constantly thinking, oh no, that interview is going to be the reason I didn't get into medicine again. And yeah, dwelling over it was not worth it at all because I'm in medicine now, so.
I think the main reason for that is because we're constantly surrounded by such a hardworking individuals.
We're prone to being perfectionists because we are picked for being a perfectionist.
Well, looking back from entering medicine to graduating medicine and actually become physicians, we're talking about heaps and heaps of exams that we're expected to ace or at least do well enough to appease your employer or the medical department. And when you think about that, we are talking about like a kind of like a meritocratic society.
One of the things I like to contrast this with is the expectations I had of myself during undergrad. So having not gotten into medicine during my undergrad and applying for postgraduate entry, I set my goal of getting 80s in all my units across my undergraduate so that I could have the best, most competitive chance of getting into the degree. Once I hit MD1 though, I quickly realised that 80s was not a sustainable goal.
I think it's very prone for us to focus on numbers and the results that we achieve. But at the end of the day, we're all dealing with people and we're all there to help other human beings. So I also do want to become that doctor or a medical student who has that compassion.
I'm getting more to the stage now, I just think, just focus on your own journey, you know, one day at a time, 1 week at a time. No need to look too far into the future, and just kind of try and enjoy your life as it is, because otherwise we'll just keep making goals and keep expecting more of ourselves. And when we eventually achieve those goals, we just make a new one anyway. So I expect a lot of myself, but I'm trying to be kinder and rein that in a bit.
There are forums online that you can look up, and you would have potential med students or already enrolled med students talk about the grades or like UCAT scores, ISET scores, the predicted ATAR scores, and it's really kind of in a way depressing. And you think to yourself how lacking you are as a person compared to other people and other strangers that you have never met before. But right now, I'm really trying to pursue that positive mindset rather than thinking about how bad I am as a person or how bad the mistakes that I've made. Really looking to how can I improve myself further, or how can I avoid making the same mistake again.
I think I've dealt with it best by turning the situations into humour and talking it through with my other med school mates. For example, I once went into an assessment, I just did so much worse than I would ever have hoped to have done. And the first day I was devastated, like really quite sad. And then, you know, the following days we just started to make jokes about it, and after a while it became a non-event again, and you just moved past it. Yeah. Med school. I don't know, what was the question again?
And wait, sorry, can I do that again?